What ergonomic chair provides the most bang for your buck? Historically, we've recommended the Ticova ergonomic chair for those of you looking for something under that $150 mark, but recently we've been raving about the Colamy Atlas for that $300 and under price point. But what do you get when you upgrade from a $150 Ticova to a $300 Atlas, and is that upgrade in price actually worth it? While these are our top picks for this price range, it is important to keep in mind that chairs for under that $300 mark will be considered lower end in the grand scheme of ergonomic chairs. The Ticova does a very good job compared to other chairs in its price range under that $200 mark, but its build quality is going to be its weakness overall. This is not a chair that you want to buy for longevity. You should expect 2 to 3 years out of the Ticova, with anything more being a bit of a bonus. Now you may be thinking, why would this guy ever recommend the Ticova then? It's because of its adjustment package and comfort, which we'll get into shortly. But the build quality is going to be its biggest downside, but it's also the reason why the chair can be priced at around $150. The build on the Atlas is by no means high end, but it is much better than the Ticova, and this may be the biggest gap we see when comparing these chairs. The Ticova is built like a $200 chair, while the Atlas feels closer to a $500 chair. We see the differences between very basic components like the wheelbase. The Ticova is made of 6 different pieces, and the Atlas has a one-piece mold. We also see big differences in the mechs and the way that the adjustments are used and function. The Ticova is very basic, while the Atlas is more advanced with things like the knob for seat depth adjustment. The upholstery is also noticeably better on the Atlas, both the mesh and the seat fabric. While you should expect about 2 to 3 years of the Ticova, it should be reasonable to expect the Atlas to last around 5, maybe 7 years. I'm going to take a moment for a shameless plug here. If you're looking for a ton of value, check out BTOD.com's refurbished steel case chairs. You can get chairs that are normally priced for over $1,000 for as low as $400 with a 12-year warranty and 30-day free returns. When looking at the seats, the Atlas has one major advantage over the Ticova, which is its seat depth adjustment. The Ticova simply doesn't have it. The seat has good dimensions on the Ticova, but the lack of depth adjustment will pose a problem for short and tall people. You really need to fall in that 20th to 80th percentile to make this seat really work from a fit standpoint. The seat slider on the Atlas is going to allow a wider range of people to fit in the chair. One thing to consider though is that the Atlas seat does not feel very big, mainly because of the shape of the cushion having kind of a tapered edge, but extending the seat out does create a gap between the seat and backrest that taller people may find annoying. The seat depth is great for short people though because you can make it really small. In terms of comfort, both seats are going to be pretty good. Neither is overly impressive, but they compare favorably to other chairs in each's price range. Both will have a firm feeling, and the seat pads themselves are rigid, so you do not have that flexibility that you might find on a higher end chair. If that's something that you want, you're going to have to bump up your budget, but for the price, these seats are among the most comfortable I've tested. The backrests have similar design concepts overall, but there are some differences that I think may be deciding factors for some of you. Both chairs have mesh with higher back designs and adjustable lumbar support. One advantage that Ticova has over the Atlas is that its lumbar support is depth adjustable. This allows you to make it stronger or weaker depending on what you prefer. While both chairs do have adjustable lumbar support systems, I don't think that either of them are ideal simply because they each have hard plastic and they can both feel pokey at times. The next difference that we see will be advantages for the Atlas, and this is due to its superior build quality. The mesh is just better. It's more elastic, which allows you to sink into it more, and it just feels like it's more supportive, hugging you, and softer. I also think that the Atlas does a much better job with its shape to accommodate the S shape in your spine. For me, the Atlas backrest is just more comfortable, and for that reason, I think it's a pretty big upgrade to the Ticova. The arms are going to be good on both chairs. The Ticova has really good arms for a chair that's under $150. For $150, you get 3-way adjustment and the arm caps are soft. Most chairs in this range will have hard plastic caps and either fixed height arms or height adjustable only. This is one of the biggest reasons why we picked the Ticova, because you're getting all of those things for a chair that's priced for under $200. The Atlas is an upgrade though, as it should be, being double the price. You get width adjustment to go along with the depth, height, and swivel like the Ticova offers. The arms themselves are also much better built. They feel more solid, and the caps are a bit softer. But most noticeably for me is the additional range that you get on the Atlas arms as compared to the Ticovas, especially on the low end for the height adjustment. The Atlas just has a nice arm package overall. I am not sure if it's worth double the price, but there are several upgrades, so you can certainly make the case. One big reason why we like these chairs so much is that they both have good headrests. From a build quality standpoint, the Ticova isn't close to the Atlas though. The Atlas feels more solid, looks nicer, and doesn't come out of the backrest when you pull it up too far. With that said, I think that the comfort on the Ticova is actually better than the Atlas. The Atlas has a mesh pulled over plastic design, and the headrest is small. The outside edges are a bit curved in, which makes it feel even smaller. There's not a ton of wiggle room to move your head or neck around on the headrest. You need to kind of stay in one spot. The Ticova has a padded design, and there's more surface area for your head with no pronounced edges. I find it to be soft enough to sink into a bit, but not so soft that I get warm. For me, I like the Ticova a bit better, but the Atlas is better quality and more adjustable, so this one's a toss-up. If you need some more ideas on ergonomic chairs, check out our office chair cheat sheet in the description. When looking at Recline, each chair has a synchro tilt mech with a large recline range, and they both feel smooth through that entire range. They also each have multiple locking positions. These factors really help to make the Ticova stand out amongst its peers in that under $200 price range. I believe the Ticova has the best recline I've found on any chair for under $200, which is another huge reason why we recommend it so often. The Atlas is about double that price though, so we should expect the Recline to be a pretty significant upgrade, and I believe that it is. The biggest advantage the Atlas has is how intuitive the adjustments are. The tension control is much easier to reach since the knob is right next to the seat as compared to the traditional massive knob we see under the seat on most low-end chairs like the Ticova. It's also more responsive, so you can feel the changes in the tension with less turns. It's also easier to lock the chair on the Atlas, and you do get an additional locking position. The Atlas has a sleek little lever near the back of the seat that clicks into place to lock the chair. It's easy to reach and very responsive to let you know that it is in the correct position, whereas the Ticova's locking lever is shared with the seat height adjustment, and it's not as easy to reach, and it's not as easy to tell that the lever is locked in and it's going to keep the chair from reclining. The final major difference that I noticed is that the Atlas goes a bit more upright than the Ticova, which I do like for tasking, and I know a lot of you look for in an ergonomic chair. While these are my go-to picks for people looking for lower priced chairs, I do think the Atlas is a pretty significant upgrade to the Ticova from both a longevity and comfort standpoint. Both chairs do provide great value though, so I feel great about either chair, depending on if you want to go with something around that $150 mark or double that budget and get something around $300.